It's the 26th of April, 2016, and I'm walking. Obviously.
Now I'm here in the studio and I'm actually getting ready for a webinar in about 30 minutes. Michael Hyatt's throwing it, and it's a free one, so why not? It's a webinar about sort of the stuff that you need to do for your platform. And like I said last night, I really do need to work on that. So it's the first time I've printed something off in forever. I hardly do that anymore. But yeah, he provided this little workbook for us to take notes with. Nice. I know that chances are, as it's a webinar, there'll be a recorded version of it later, but just in case, I do have my equipment set up so I can record it and review over my notes and stuff. That was a dang good webinar. It's actually been over for about an hour at this point whenever I record this, but I had to talk to Mom afterwards. Those of you that have been around long enough know that Mom's sort of my psychiatrist, the person that I hold counsel with whenever I need to think about stuff. There's been something that's been going on in my head lately. It's about my content, and it's about me, to be honest. I feel like there's something else I could be doing with all of this. And this webinar sort of shook me up a teensy bit on that regard. Because I haven't quite found it yet. I do know the steps I need to take with my website. Definitely some things from that webinar that I'm going to put into practice. Way I can make my platform the best platform it can be. That's one of Michael Hyatt's big things, is about your platform. Make sure it's a good one. Not social media, although that's part of strategies and stuff like that. Your platform isn't social media. It's usually a website that is yours. And that's what TSCN is. It's the platform, the main place that you go to for my stuff and several other people's stuff as well. But even past that, I feel like there's something else I should be doing. And I'm still trying to find that. A way that I can quit the 9 to 5 and just focus on what I'm called to do, honestly. Now, it could be something like life coaching. For weird reasons that I never quite grasp, people come to me a lot to talk. Talent I have. I've got technical talents, too. I mean, this whole podcasting thing, there could be businesses in town that really want to do this sort of thing. But anytime I've thought about something like this, there is always one prevailing thought that keeps on showing up, and I kind of need to shut it up, to be honest. It's not a solid thought, it takes a lot of forms, but it pretty much tells me I can't do it, or there's no demand for that, or a various number of reasons. To sum it up, pretty much, it says, no, that won't work, and no, that won't happen. When I know it very well could. So, I'm making another investment in myself. I got convinced to join something today. Michael Hyatt has a thing called Platform University. I had always assumed that it was like $100 or something like that. I don't know why. I never checked. But anyway, turns out it's usually $37 a month. But because I was in that webinar, I'm getting in at $30 a month. So I'm also getting some bonuses for joining in at the time that I did. But the point is, it's time to make an investment in my content again. I did that way back in the day with the Podcast Mastermind, whenever I'd only been doing this for 2 years. And that was a big investment for me. And it helped me out, let alone it introduced me to some people that I still hold as dear friends. Donovan, one of those, of course, as you guys know. So now it's time again. Time for me to make an investment into my content, to take it seriously. Because I can do more with this. I know I can. But I need to stop being afraid of doing it. And that's where my problem is right now. But in order to do that, I need to build that platform up a little bit. So I've got several goals in mind right now to work with. The whole webinar was in steps, which was a good thing, because you guys kind of know me. I'm a bit OCD and organizational, so steps, oh yeah. So, my website. Let's face it, guys. It isn't the prettiest website you could ever look at. I think I've never done anything about it because I've come at this from the mindset of a hobbyist, or as someone that never makes money. I'm not necessarily wanting to go into a business or something like that, although that's another thing, like I said, that's in my head. I said that earlier. But it would be nice to at least make my content and break even. That would be a good goal to have, because then I can focus on making the content and not the bills. So I need to treat this professionally, whether or not in the cards I'm ever going to do anything professionally I still need to treat it as such. So that's where I am. Right now, that website needs fixed. It's going to cost money, obviously. So that'll be a step-by-step thing. I need a website redesign, but before that, I think I need to get some banner art and some pictures going. And I think I know who to run to for those. I have a friend that's a professional photographer that I need to talk to. She'll be at the library today. Huh, convenient. And then there's other things. I also have someone that can do web design if they're hired to do such. I suspect that person is going to argue with me about being hired, but still. I still plan to hire that person instead of getting anything for free. Because honestly, guys, if you got creative people, let them do their livelihood. I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you've got creative people that do stuff for a living, let them make their living. Do not ask for free stuff. Don't be a jerk. So right now, that's where my goals are. That and the word Patreon is finally coming into my head. I think it's time for me to jump over the hump. Because what's the worst that could happen? Oh, I'm sorry, no one donated to your Patreon. Now we're going to take money from you. That's not how it works. Patreon is there. So if people want to. The worst that can happen is that no one does. Easy as that. And honestly, if 40 people gave $2, because then it would cover the part that Patreon takes, of course, then my monthly podcasting cost of $40 a month for Libsyn, it'd be taken care of. Simple. When it comes to making a patron, you really need to think about goals, levels, stuff like that. So that's all the stuff I need to consider now that I'm actually considering it. Guess what? Currently not having a job, I have time, and the unemployment office is paying me every month. So, in a way, I'm getting paid to follow my passion right now and have time to do it. I think it's time I took advantage of that. Been so businessy right now that I just realized that today was the day the Hearthstone expansion came out. Have to do a video about that later. No time today. Yay! Just got Drax, mind you. At the rate it's going with 2 days left, that may be the last Guardian I get, but still. And just in case anyone thought I'd forgotten, iPod time. I had a lot stored on there, so I honestly don't know how long it's going to take for it to delete it all, but then it'll be nice and fresh and ready.
Tech News for Tuesday, April 26, 2016. I'm Tom Murray. Joining me today, Mr. Ayaz Akhtar of CNET.com fame, and of course, host of...
Starts covering it. And then the thing leaps from off of that, going over to the other.
So guys, there are some nights when the dice just don't like you. Tonight was one of those nights. We're surrounded by werewolves, and during that we had 3 fumbles, count them, 3 critical failures. Just that, and there's a possibility that one of the members of the party died. One of the characters may be dead. And what's worse, factor in the fact she was the one that didn't want to go while the rest of the party did, and just she did end up dying. The guilt that my character is going to feel, I already know. It's going to get dramatic up in here really quick. But yeah, that just made it a bad night. It wasn't a bad night due to anything that our DM did. He did a fantastic job as always. When the dice decide they're just going to throw a middle finger at you for the whole night, yeah, it kind of sucks a little bit.
I started last night in Oakland, and I woke up this morning in New Orleans, which is where